Southern and UL Lafayette next up here in this game, Sun Belt action. UL Lafayette 3-point home favorites, 59.5 the total in this one. I never thought I'd say this, but Clay Helton's doing a hell of a coaching job. I know I never thought I would say that about this guy. But let's give him some credit here with Georgia Southern. They've had a nice season so far. They were one of the few teams to beat James Madison. They beat Old Dominion. The South Alabama game was very disappointing from their standpoint. They got off to a great start, and the defense kind of caved in the second half. The South Alabama offense got it going through the air, on the ground as well, but it was especially the ground game that just destroyed Georgia Southern. Damian Webb, have a day, 4 rushing touchdowns, 247 rushing yards against Georgia Southern in that comeback win for South Alabama. So very disheartening to see that if you're Georgia Southern. Their defense could not stop the run. Their defense hasn't stopped the run all year. 127 in the country, 225 rushing yards allowed per game. That's not very good. But they're going up against a pedestrian, and I'm being kind, ULL offense. We know this is not a great offensive football team this year. They've struggled to put up points on the board consistently, especially against good defenses, but I don't know if they're a good defense, Georgia Southern. I think ULL can get some offense going. The fact they put up 17 against Troy is actually impressive because Troy's got one hell of a defense. Let's also not forget they did score 29 against Southern Miss, who's got a pretty good defense. I mean, you're seeing Ben Wooldridge and the offense start to get going a little bit for ULL, and they hung 38 against Arkansas State. I personally think Georgia Southern's defense is closer to Arkansas State caliber than Troy caliber. So I think this is a game for UL Lafayette to get their offense going a little bit. On the flip side, ULL does have the defense has been the strength of the team. There's no question about that. They're going up, though, against this up-tempo, pass-heavy Georgia Southern attack led by Van Treese, the quarterback transfer from Buffalo. They've been putting up points every week, regardless of who they played. Coastal, Georgia State, James Madison, they put 45 on the board against a pretty good team. Very good ODU defense, or at least a decent ODU defense, 28 points and then 31. So I don't know. To me, with this total now 59.5, that's high for ULL, but it's very low for Georgia Southern, a total in the 50s, because Georgia Southern has certainly been an over machine here for the majority in recent weeks. I think this could be an over spot here just because I think this is a week for ULL offensively to get things going a bit. After 2 straight losses, Troy and Southern Miss. Remember, the Southern Miss, there was a lot of turnovers in that game for ULL. They outgained Southern Miss by 100. I think back home they can bounce back. Keep in mind, on their home field this year, destroyed Eastern Michigan. They almost beat South Alabama, a very good South Alabama team at home, lost by 3, and then they beat up Arkansas State at home. So on this Ragin' Cajun field, they've played better football. I would lean to them as a field goal home favorite here in this game. What do you think, Connor Mack, Georgia Southern, ULL?
Yeah, I'd lean to them a little bit, but I don't know if I get involved in this.
Certainly the better defense, ULL, yeah.
Yeah, and they're at home. This is where you want them. Man, Georgia Southern broke it for me. I had the 3.5, and I had some money line there. No points in the fourth, and gave up 2 touchdowns to lose it, and we were winning by 7. So that was heartbreak. The defense collapsed, and then they couldn't score. You mentioned that they can run it. Van Treese has been very, very good for them. They've been able to put up yards, and they should here. Even Louisiana's a pretty good defense. They still should be able to move it, but so will the Cajuns, I think, in this one. But the total, is this just too high? I don't know, because I think this could just get over back and forth, or this could stay under. I'm gonna look at this one a little bit the next couple of days where I want to make a move. But yeah, I like the Cajuns at home. I don't love the hook here. It's like 3.5 a lot of places now. There still have some 3s. So yeah, I think I'm going to be off the side.